of a cell randomly mutated to create something beneficial is absurd.
I mean, you're free to think what you
Do you understand what the probabilities of a cell randomly mutating and producing something beneficial as opposed to something detrimental?
What do you term as beneficial?
Well, something that can be harnessed, that can create amino acids, that can then become something new, a new organism, that natural selection can harness and use. Because you don't believe in you don't believe in intelligent design. You believe in randomness, isn't it?
I wouldn't say randomness in that it's just random. There is a process to it, but it's not guided.
Okay. So what's the opposite of random?
Ordered.
Ordered. And can something be ordered without an orderer?
So can something be ordered without
an orderer?
An orderer.
Someone to order it.
Without somebody to order it. You can observe order without an orderer. Yeah.
Give me an example of something you've seen ordered that wasn't ordered.
You throw a rock in a stream.
Well, you've ordered it.
Say again?
Well, you're the one who's done that.
Yeah. Well, my point is, if you have like the things you observe that don't have any guiding hand, any active agent, like evolution, for instance, right?
Okay. The DNA in the cell. Information. Where did it come from?
Information from us. Like
no. The information in the cell.
Yeah, but my point is, it's information because we understand it to be information.
No. I'm not talking about data. I'm talking about information. I'm talking about coding. So in the cell, there's DNA coding. Okay. Where did that DNA coding come from?
The things that have evolved over time. These are things that have evolved over time.
No. DNA coding is not something. DNA coding is information. Okay. Can you give me an example of anything that, in your experience, that is information that hasn't had an intelligent agency behind it?
This was the guy, by the way.
This is the brother with knowledge.
This is the one I came to see, man. This is the reason I told him I came to see.
Can you name anything else anything in your experience, in your human experience, that contains information, and that information is not the result of an intelligent agency? Can you name anything?
When you say, I can't. But hear me out. When you say information, the information we detect in DNA is because of the tools we came up with to understand.
No. You're conflating information with data. All right. So the DNA, the information in the DNA, is the coding that's going to determine what that cell is going to become.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's coding, genetic coding. Okay.
I get it.
Now we know in our human experience, we don't find anywhere anything that contains coding that wasn't the result of an intelligent agency. We don't open a book and think it wrote itself. We don't, open a computer program and think that it organized itself. It had a coder.
I get it.
So in our human experience, whenever we see something that contains information, we know there's an intelligent agency behind it. So the question that needs to be asked, why are we applying a double standard when we see the cell, which has information in it, we're now going away from our human experience and saying it just happened? What is it?
I never said it just happened.
No, but that is what you're saying.
No, I said it evolved over time.
But information doesn't evolve over time. Books don't evolve over time. Information, genetic coding in the DNA cell, in the cell, doesn't just happen. It has to be there from the start.
It isn't just happening, but this is my point. It started from a very, very simple.
But where did it come from?
Process.
Where did the information come from?
So you're talking abiogenesis, right? That's the
abiogenesis is another. Is just a posh long word for origin of life.
No, it's exactly that.
Right. It's not a scientific term that you can apply methods and such to. The answer is an atheist doesn't know how it happened.
I know.
Because you can't.
Genesis,
no, it's not.
It's models.
What's the model?
A model. They come up with more.
No. What is the model? How chemistry became biology? What's the model?
How chemistry became biology?
Yeah.
I don't know about chemistry becoming biology. What I do know is, with regards to,
it's not really about smoking anymore.
No, it's not smoking. It's not smoking.
It is.
He knows.
At the end of the day, we
knowledge
come to the debate, and where he's trying to say the atheists don't have no
Let them finish.
Look, I'm going to make it easy for you. Very simple, right? And I'm going to make a claim now, and I have to pay my negative now anyway. But I'm going to make a claim to you. All right, and we can connect online if you like, no problem. All right. The science of biology, the science of chemistry, and the science of physics all point to intelligent agency behind the universe. All three of them. And the beautiful thing is what the Quran says about those like you. Have they not looked to the heavens and within themselves? Subhanallah azim. So we go to the heavens, where we're talking about the Big Bang, we're talking about the expansion of the universe and the fine-tuning, and within yourselves, your own cells, your own DNA. Where did it come from? Because information does not just happen.
I've explained to you. It didn't fall from the sky.
No, it doesn't. Right.
So what is information is like the same thing as just like DNA?
So DNA is the information found within the cell, which is the building blocks to what that cell is going to become. It has to be, it's like the blueprints. Yeah. You don't get blueprints.
But before DNA, there was RNA. This is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Oh, don't trying to explain
no.
designer.
Don't think you can just throw RNA, DNA, and all these kind of things to confuse them out. I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to tell you a book to read. Will you read the book if I tell you to read it?
Yeah.
All right. It's called Return of the God Hypothesis.
Return of the God Hypothesis.
By Stephen Meyer. He's a Christian. I don't care about that.
What's the idea behind it?
The idea behind it is that he's got all the neo-atheists on the run right now. Your Dawkins, your Sam Harris, yeah? Why? Because what he's showing is that the latest discoveries of science, quantum mechanics, multiverse, all this kind of stuff, DNA, is supposed to somehow help explain everything. What it does is those are evidences for God. So the more information you find, the more complex things become, the more explanations you're going to need. And so what it does is, it turns it on its head. So DNA, multiverse claims, and quantum mechanics are all evidence of intelligent agency. All of them. And read the book and conclude it. And he's got another book called Signature in the Cell, which goes deep into this topic, yeah? And he's got another book called Darwin's Doubt. And what Darwin's Doubt does, it calls about the fossil record. So when you think the fossil record is some kind of evidence for evolution, not evolution, Darwinian evolution, when you read Darwin's Doubt, you'll realize, oh, wait a minute, how do we explain the Cambrian explosion? How do we explain the idea that we're supposed to believe that these things became more complex over time than we find in the fossil record? All of these complex creatures without ancestors, where do they come from?
Right.
So you need to read this information. Right, I need to go pray.
You need to go pray. We need to continue this conversation. It's important.
Definitely so. We'll hook up. Are you on Facebook or something?
I'm following you.
Message your Hamza then. What's your name?
I'm Osas, by the way. I'm messaging you.
What's your name?
Osas. O-S-A-S.
Get ready to be a Muslim, bro. Get ready to be a Muslim. Just open your mind. Look, Islam is not something abstract. It's something tangible.